Hello and welcome to Rick's Picks. We are about to tackle another Cans of Tarkir draft. Let's see how we do. Alright, so here we go. For our first pack, we have two options. We can either get a Crackling Doom or an Arc Lightning. And as much as I like the Crackling Doom, I think the Arc Lightning should just be better. This basically deals 2 damage to my opponent, and he sacrifices the creature with the greatest power he controls. It could be good. I mean, I guess both these cards here go in the same deck, but they do very different things. This actually gets rid of one big guy, and this gets rid of maybe a couple of small guys. The reason I'm getting Arc Lightning is because it does not necessarily mean I'm gonna be Mardu specifically, depends on what I get past, and also because, you know, playing this on turn 3, taking out a morph and another small creature is just too insane, so I think that's for the best. Alright, so here we got Horde Ambusher or Valley Dasher. Or maybe if we just assume we're gonna be Mardu, we can take a Rush of Battle. But I think Rush of Battle is one of the most underrated good commons in this format, because I tend to get a lot of those much later than second pick. So I'm gonna take this thing, which is an uncommon, and it's a very good card in an aggressive deck, because you get to play it either as a 2/2 for 2 or as a morph, and then, you know, forcing something not to block. Should be fine. It's a card that I like. Alright, well, this on the other hand is not a very good pack. We could take a Leaping Master, or we could take a Tranquil Cove and see if we end up Jeskai. I think I'm taking the land here. I have had more success with Mardu than Jeskai, truth be told, but since I can get guys like this much later, and also like this or this or this, I think taking the land here is just, you know, keeping my options open. And you know, lands are very important, like I've said many times before in my other videos on this format. So take a Tranquil Cove. Also, from my experience, I think Jeskai tend to be underdrafted. It's not a rule or anything, but it's just something that has been happening on the drafts that I have played. So here we take a Master the Way. I think it's either Master the Way or another Tranquil Cove. But by taking Master the Way, what we do here is we got a card that is a removal spell that can also double as player removal, because it can go to the face, and we kinda, you know, cement ourselves into Jeskai here. Not really cement, because, you know, those aren't amazing cards or anything, with the exception of the Arc Lightning, which is pretty good. But yeah, I think I'll take a Master the Way. If you went for this thing, I would take the Tranquil Cove. I mean, City Unwritten is... I guess I could take a City Unwritten and then just try to be a teamer, but yeah, I think Master the Way is fine. Alright, a couple of cards I like here, especially for my Mardu decks. I could take a Skull Hunter, which is one of the early guys that I really like. I could take a Bloodfell Caves, or I could take a Rush of Battle. And right now I am leaning towards a Bloodfell Caves, because we do not know if we are Jeskai just yet. We could even splash for the Master the Way with this thing if we end up Mardu. And you know, this is important, this is very important, but this is also kind of important. But you know, I would rather just take a land to again leave our options open. Well, here we got nothing, so we're gonna take a warrior here, a Disowned Ancestor. This is not a bad card. It comes down turn 1, it gets to attack for 0 to maybe activate raids on turn 2, and also it can get pretty large over the course of a longer game. This is Sultai Charm, but I don't think I can take that given what I have here. I mean, Arc Lightning by itself is already better than this thing, I think. And I don't want to play 4 color if I can help it, so let's take the Ancestor. Well, speaking of leaving our options open, I'm gonna take a Wind Scout, which is one of the best commons you can have for aggressive Jeskai decks. Much better than a Scoutkin, I think. Does it despise too? Yeah, Wind Scout. We'll see where things go. Here we could either take a Smite the Monstrous or a Valley Dasher, and I think I'm taking a Valley Dasher just because I like trying to be very, very aggressive here. Smite the Monstrous is a very good card in both decks that we can make here, either Mardu or Jeskai. Especially in Jeskai because it's an instant, it can trigger prowess. But the Valley Dasher is one of the most underrated cards in this format, I think, along with the Mass Pump spell, the white Mass Pump spell, the Rush of Battle. Here, well, getting this guy this late is a good sign, so I'm gonna take it. Maybe this will be the one that cements us into Jeskai. I did not pass anything too good in Jeskai colors, so alright, taking a Rush of Battle. This is a card that I don't necessarily like a lot in Jeskai. I like it more in Mardu or Abzan, but it could also be very good in Jeskai too, depending on whether we have a couple of warriors. And even if we don't, in some Jeskai builds I find this is gonna pump your team a lot because you have a lot of prowess guys. So we shall see. Okay, another prowess guy, not one of the best ones, but you know, has hexproof at least. An aggressive guy that I'm probably not gonna play. Man, this is a super late Dragon Scale Boom. This is okay too, but this is just a blowout sometimes. Alright, nice sideboard card. So this is our pack 1. Nothing to write home about, and we lean towards Jeskai here, but we don't really know for a fact that that's what we're playing here. Alright, this is a great pack. There's Avalanche Tusker, which we could get and just lean Temur instead of Jeskai or Mardu. The problem with that plan is that we don't have any kind of Temur land just yet. This is a quite good card, but I'm not sure. I guess it's enough. It's good enough that I may just try to take it. I'll be giving up here a Rush of Battle, a Weapon Master, a Disown Ancestor. If we don't want to take that, we could take a Jeskai Charm, which is pretty good in a dedicated Jeskai build. I mean, this guy is great, but yeah, you know, we also have this thing which is pretty good in aggressive red decks. But anyway, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the rare, because this guy can be just a very large blowout when he works. And then we get past Bear's Companion, and just like that, let's bring this Dragon Scale Boom here. We are probably just Temur. I'm not sure. We shall see. But it certainly looks that way. If you want to take a Jeskai card, you can take a Tranquil Cove. But that's about it. Cure Shot is okay too. Alright, there's a Debilitating Injury. Oh, there's a Murderous Cut too. Man, what do we do here? There isn't a land that we could take. I think I'm not playing this thing. There is an Arrow Storm, which is a pretty good card too, which we could take. I think it's better to take this thing because it certainly looks like you're gonna go Teamer here at this point. No reason to try to be like Sultai or Mardu now. And the Arrow Storm is actually a pretty decent card. I really like it. Has ability in injury too, but I think both these black cards here are better than the Arrow Storm. But given how our deck is going, jeez, man, what is this? This should not be here. And then we get just about nothing. I think I'm gonna take a Mardu Horde Chief because we can still be Jeskai. Not taking a Skull Hunter because I believe black is the one color that I'm sure I won't play here. Can also take all these Bloodfell Caves, I think. Taking this guy because it's white, it could go into our Jeskai deck, even though it's not really at home there. It's more like a Teamer card, I mean a Mardu card. But yeah, let's take it. Let's see what happens. And then we get past an Absent Charm. Jeez. There's a Jeskai Wind Scout and a Force Away, both of which are very good cards. I think I'm gonna take the Wind Scout because I feel it's marginally more important to Jeskai. Although Force Away is amazing, whether we're Jeskai or Teamer. It's a very good card, Force Away. I like it. Well, I think I'm gonna take the Wind Scout. I mean, we need threats, and even if we end up Teamer and not Jeskai, we can play this guy because, you know, Jeskai, a Teamer is gonna have some combat tricks like that thing. And speaking of Teamer, we get a Snowhorn Rider. There's an Absent guy which I absolutely love, Chief of the Scale, Ruthless Reaper, and Akbon King. Look at that, Sultai Scavenger. It's pretty much my dream Absent deck in a single pack, and a Blossoming Sands too. Alright, well, let's take the Snowhorn Rider then. We need to prioritize lands here, like the Swiftwater Cliffs. Better than everything we have here, so let's take it. Oh, Sultai Ascendancy. It's my least favorite Ascendancy. I'm gonna take a Force Away here. We could take a Mystic, which is a very good card, but I feel like Force Away is important since we have, you know, a couple of Wind Scouts to pump, and we get even some larger guys to get to loot a card when play this thing. So yeah, let's get a Force Away. Disdainful Stroke is okay, but Awaken the Bear seems like just the kind of card that I want to play in a Teamer deck full of prowess guys, so I am taking it. I'm still not in love with this deck or anything, especially because our mana base is very bad at this point, but we'll try to make it work. Who knows? Scout the Borders or an Adept. I don't need an Adept, so let's take this thing. Probably not gonna play it, but if we end up heavy on Delve cards, we could use it. Blue or green Delve cards, and I guess it's kind of mana fixing too, albeit a very bad mana fixing card. Doesn't really fix anything. Costs 3 mana. So yeah, let's take the Adept. Not that we're gonna play it, but alright. So at this point I'm not satisfied with the deck. We do have a big bomb in this guy and quite a few combat trick spells to support it. They go well with it, but I think the deck still lacks, especially when it comes to mana fixing. That's something we should keep in mind for pack 3. Okay, well, we got a High Sentinels of Arishan. This has been a weird deck. I mean, a weird draft. I'm not sure what I should take here, to be honest. I feel like I should take a Swiftwater Eclipse and hope that, you know, a Loxodon or a Glacial Stalker wheels. I certainly am not in a position to hate draft anything here. Goblin's Light could be okay-ish in our deck, since we plan to have a few spells anyway. But yes, Set Adrift is okay. The Glacial Stalker is okay. If one of those cards make it back, I'm fine. And obviously the Loxodon would be my preferred card to wheel here. But I am taking the Cliffs. As sad as that makes me, passing a sweet white flyer. Not something that I do often, but oh well. Here I feel like we need to take the Mistfire Weaver. Here's a pretty good card. Other than that, we have the Mandrills, which is good. Glacial Stalker, okay. Awaken the Bear. I don't think I want any more combat tricks just yet. So let's take this guy. We actually do need creatures here. Alright, Timber Charm is very, very fine. Very fine indeed. We'll take it over a Tusgar Captain because it's a pretty good removal spell. And Combat Trick too. Alright. So here we have a couple of options, either a Tormenting Voice or a Weave Fate. I'm inclined to take the Tormenting Voice just to make our deck lean toward cheaper spells. There's a Death Frenzy too, but I don't think that's going to be necessarily that good against us. We do have some... oh, I guess it is, right? Wind Scouts and Valley Dashers. Oh well. So either Tormenting Voice or Weave Fate, or maybe Scout King. Scout King perhaps. We have too few creatures at this point. Hopefully you get either this or this on the way back. Yeah, but I feel like I need to take creatures here, and you know, we have flyers, so we can make it a small theme of flying over our opponents for the win here with combat tricks. Here, well, I am taking the Tormenting Voice, I think, and that's because this guy is too blue heavy for me to truly like it in this format. Maybe I could take it. I mean, it is a creature. We could take this thing to try and mana fix, but this thing is so horrible. I don't like it at all. Yeah, let's take the Sign of Glaciers then. Ooh, Heir of the Wild. Pretty much the kind of card we want here. It's a creature, it's a pseudo removal spell. Yeah, no question. Alright, Thornwood Falls it is. But maybe we should take this guy. We only have 11 creatures. I'm not sure. We don't have much here to bring in. Maybe the Adepts, Scaldaboras. Yeah, I think the land is just too important. Hopefully I get some sort of morph here to round the deck. Yeah, I like this guy for example. Maybe this one. This guy's not bad actually, the Monastery Flock. Our deck is probably leaning toward more expensive cards, and this is the perfect card for us to just have around. It can be a morph or it can be a flying wall with a high toughness. There's this thing, but I'm taking the Flock. Alright, Woolly Loxodon it is. Great card. There's a Goblin's Light too, but I'm not taking it. We may end up a bit short on playables here. May have to bring in something like a Briber's Purse, a Wetland Sandbar. Scaldaboras Probably. It's gonna make me so unhappy. Okay, Hooting Mandrills is fine, which actually makes me happier about bringing in the Scouted Borders. We could also take the Swift Kick there, but we definitely do need creatures more than we need removal spells at this point. We do have a few already. So Archer's Parapet or Naturalize. I think I want to take the Archer's Parapet. It's a card that I can bring in from the sideboard even without black mana. And see, now you get a Tormenting Voice, which is perfect. Of course, I would rather get something like a Treasure Cruise, especially to go along with the Tormenting Voice, because that's a good graveyard filling card. So I feel like I may not even need to bring in the Scouted Borders, which is good news at least. Don't need Scouted Borders number 2, so I'm hate drafting the Shambling Attendants. Alright, Highland Game is actually a card that I am willing to main deck. Very good against the kind of aggressive decks that I usually like to build. Alright, so this is our decidedly mediocre card pool. We shall see what we do about it. Okay, so this is the core deck that I think we'll play. It's very straightforward, if unspectacular. I ended up taking out the Monastery Flock. I get to bring it in if I want to, but I would rather play something like a Highland Game over it. It's more aggressive, and you know, it's a good defensive card at the same time. Just like the Monastery Flock, right? It can play aggression and it can be very good defensively, but I just like the Highland Game more. So let's see what kind of basics Magic Online tells us to play here. So we have 3 non-basic lands, and those are Swiftwater Cliffs, Thornwood Falls. I guess I could take out Island, and Mountain. This way we will have 8 blue sources, 6 green sources, and 6 red sources. Not the best collection of lands ever. I mean, that makes me sad. Everything about this deck is very unspectacular, I would say. But at least it is, you know, streamlined. It has an okay-ish curve. It has a couple morphs. It has, you know, flyers and combat tricks. So let's hope that's enough. See you round 1.